Hey, how's it going, everyone? So the week 47 patch notes are here for Icarus. Now, I'm going to try and cover as much as I possibly can regarding the open world today, as that is what's been added. If you haven't seen any of the open world stuff yet, I have done a full live stream on it yesterday on the experimental branch. And I also put out a video yesterday regarding a quick TLDR and early thoughts on the open world and how they can make it better and stuff like that. So if you want to go check them out, I will leave them in the pinned comments down below if you want to go check that out. So as you can see on the left hand side of the screen now, you have the join prospect, outposts, missions, and open world. Obviously the join prospect is if you want to join your friend's prospect, that is now where you'll go. Outposts, this will have the 3 original outposts, the small parcels of land, which you can go and do as well. And then you have your missions. This is where you can do your exotics and get your ren and progress the in-game's lore as well. And we now have the open world. So this is where you're going to be able to select either Olympus or Styx. Before I go any further, if you previously did have an Olympus outpost build, that will now have been migrated over to your open world on Olympus, and it'll be in here. Mine was full map solo. That got migrated over, and everything's absolutely fine. Everything's all in the same place. Nothing's disappeared or anything like that. It's all been seamlessly migrated over. As you can see here, you can play either open world Olympus or open world Styx. For the purpose of this video, let's just go ahead and create a brand new Olympus open world game. As you can see here, you have easy, medium, and hard. I'm just going to go ahead and pick medium. The good thing about the open world mode is the fact that you gain experience as well. And you get your world bosses as well spawning, which is also nice. The only time you're going to be able to see the world bosses, though, if you have the world boss tracking module from the workshop, which you put into your suit module slot, or you have the talent to see the world bosses on the map as well. So that is the only way you're going to be able to see the world bosses, unless you just happen to not have any of them tracking devices and you stumble across one on your travels and get caught off guard. But let's go and take a look at claiming the prospect and dropping down now into a pre-selected area. So let's just go ahead, confirm the loadout. As you can see here, there is 5 locations where you can drop down to. It's the Riverland, the desert, the Arctic if you're a crazy person, desert, and forest. So as you can see, it gives you a hint of what kind of food's here, resources, O2, and all of that kind of good stuff. Nice little bit of information. Obviously, if you go into the Arctic, it's a lot harder. Obviously, it's cold, low foliage, not many creatures in the drop zone, which is handy to tell you about. So that is pretty darn good. So for the purpose of this video, let's just go and drop down into the forest biome. Okay, so here we are down on the forest biome. Let's just get my stuff out of the drop pod. Make sure my module's on. Let's take a look. As you can see, we have world bosses here, which is 3 sandworms. So it does look like the other world bosses aren't on here, which is a little disappointing, as I touched on in yesterday's live stream. But at least we've got an early edition of world bosses on the open world mode. Hopefully they will add more in the future. As you can see here, the experience bonus, you are not now penalized, so you can... This is actually a really good way at making like a new character and leveling them up now, especially if I drop somewhere in like the desert where it's like level 80 to 90 animals. You will level exceptionally fast. Okay, so let's have a look and see if ores respawn or not. Now, the way this was working on the experimental branch is you had to return to character select and come back in for the ores to respawn yesterday. So let's see what has changed. So this iron ore here, let's see if this respawns. I'll do all this in real time just in case anyone thinks I'm trying to trick anybody. Let's make sure. Okay, I've got all of that. Return to character select. This is a good little segue actually. While this is happening, you can go in your drop pod back up to the station and come down with an entirely new loadout or get other supplies and bring them back down with you. So that's a big difference from the outpost mode as well. So you can always bring supplies down and change stuff out and whatnot. Unlike the experimental branch yesterday where all was respawning on return to character select, it's no longer doing that. So the fact that they've actually changed that from the experimental branch, the fact that the always won't respawn on returning to character select and then coming back in, that doesn't really bother me. I know that's going to bother a lot of people, but there is deep vein ore to be mined out there. The stuff out you find outside of caves if you want. And it's a whole part of the open world experience, you know, so they want you to get out there, adventuring, exploring, mining other caves and stuff like that. So I can understand why they've done this. I'm not really bothered about this, to be honest. If I've got to go and deep vein mine stuff, I'll go and do it. I'll just go in another cave. There's plenty of caves out there for open world mode for a group of people. I'd understand if it was like 60 people, or not 60, but you know what I mean, like 20 hardcore no life and people playing the game and always running out, then I could see an issue. But realistically, there's not many cases where there's going to be a big group of players until dedicated servers come out, but that's a different conversation. So yeah, I'm not really bothered about that. I will put an image up on the screen though. What are the big differences between each and every game mode? So the difference between open world missions and outposts is missions, time missions, open world mode, full map, missions, full map, outposts, you don't get the full map. Open world is persistent and so is outposts. Choose your drop zone, open world, and you can see here, the only way you're going to get exotics is on missions, which I 100% stand behind this. Like I said yesterday, I think it really hurt the game if you had exotics on open world mode or outposts, so I'm happy with that. World bosses on open world and missions, regenerating resources as you can see on outposts. That is the case, not on missions or open world. Reduced XP, outposts, safe sandbox mode, outposts, mounts, you can get them on open world and on missions, horde mode, open world and missions, deep ore deposits and open world and missions. So yeah, if you just want that really chilled experience, no hassle whatsoever, outposts is still the way to go, and it's a tiny little parcel land and you can just do whatever the hell you like if you just want to chill out and build. But if you want to make a balance between the two, open world is definitely the way to go. Obviously you don't do missions, not yet anyways. I know that they plan on integrating that in some way in the future, having the missions on the open world or some form of that. Open world right now, I can see it being a popular choice for people who want to just play with a small group of friends and chill out and go and hunt world bosses. I do hope they add more world bosses though in the future to the Olympus. Okay, so on sticks, it's interesting. You've got all the world bosses here. You've got the scorpions, you've got the sandworms, you've got the wolves. Now, I'm a bit confused why they don't have these on Olympus. But, well, there you go. So if you want a bigger experience, sticks is obviously going to be the way to go. You've definitely got more choices on sticks than you do Olympus by the looks of it. And one last thing, I just want to say that if you drop down on a drop pod and then you get back in your drop pod and then go back to a station on open world mode, when you drop back in, you won't be able to select your location again. You will drop down at your predetermined location, which you originally selected on your original drop in. So let's just have a quick TLDR recap. So all won't respawn on open world mode. I will keep on trying to say outposts. Open world mode. So you can't go to character select now and come back in and the all won't respawn. You're going to have to do some deep vein mining, or you're going to have to go further afield to get some more ore, which is absolutely fine in my opinion. The whole point of open world is exploration, adventure, and all of that good stuff. So another thing is, Styx is probably the best map to play on if you want a whole range of bosses to fight. So I'd recommend Styx. But if you want to play on Olympus, it looks like for now anyways, you're just getting the sandworms. Now that could potentially change, but I would like to see all of the world bosses being on Olympus as well. I don't think there should be a big difference between Olympus and Styx in terms of bosses. So as I've shown, exotics won't be coming to the open world or outposts. So let me know down in the comments what you think of this update. Honestly, regarding the ore not regenerating on open world mode, yesterday when I was playing the experimental branch and when I'd done my initial impressions video, I was quite happy with the ore regenerating. But I'm actually also happy that it's not regenerating now, because at the time, I didn't even think about deep vein ore nodes. To be honest, I forgot about them because I never used them, simply because they take too long to mine. But remembering that they're actually in the game, it goes to show you how much of a bad feature they are, because I actually forgotten about them. I think if the devs allow you to mine them faster with the drills, I don't think people would complain about the ore not regenerating as quick. I legitimately believe that. So if any of the devs are watching, if you could look into the drill speeds, because they are very slow at the minute, I think that would go a long way of meeting people in the middle in terms of getting ore. I think they always should be mining ore by hand, should always be quicker. So having a balance between people exploring but also getting different ores at different speeds on the drills should also be an option as well, but they're just too slow at the minute. So I think that'd be a good 50-50 compromise on the drill speeds and people still having to hand mine as well.